Some games break promises, others come late but deliver. However, some games just don't really hit their mark at all, and end up being dead on arrival. Hey Shackers, Greg here, and today I'm counting down the top 10 dead on arrival games. Now for this list, I'm considering many factors from different areas. Of course, votes from our community, staff, and Twitter, but I'm also taking into account how fast the player base fell upon release, reviews, underwhelming sales, or just simply disappearing from the gaming scene faster than it normally should. I'm also keeping this list more recent. There was a lot of deadweight games that were released before gaming got mainstream, so I'll focus on titles released after 2004. We're also not here to pick on indie games, so there will only be bigger games on here. So sit back and let's watch the hard work of these developers falter. These are the top 10 dead on arrival games.
Shit! This is not working. You'll never finish! This game is falling apart! No, it's not! Shut up! You're letting everyone down? No, I'm not! I'm gonna make this game and it's gonna be the best thing that anyone has ever seen. Delusional thoughts from Fantasy Island. You'll never get metal legs. Samantha is fucking Alex! No, she's not! Ugh.
I advise caution. These men are...
They're dead men. That's what they are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just figured you might want to survive this.
What could be more awesome than being able to set up custom adventures with your D&D friends online? Well, the idea behind Sword Coast Legends was just that. Create your own adventure for your friends to play through. Taking place in the amazing D&D universe of Forgotten Realms, the game received multiple awards at E3 and seemed like a great idea. Gamers and fans of D&D were treated to a rude awakening. Fans didn't respond to the real-time combat choice, making D&D enthusiasts upset that spells would be on a cooldown timer, rather than being cast once, twice, or 3 times per day. But that was small. Aside from the boring combat, the nail in the game's coffin came from the user interface. Creating your personal adventure wasn't easy. Even for a gamer like me, I found the process frustrating and not enjoyable. When you finally did manage to make a custom dungeon, it looked and felt the same from any other custom-made dungeon. The game quickly dropped in sales and caused the studio that created it, N-Space, to go under. It was a game that was too ambitious, and developers just couldn't deliver on what was promised.
Let the Dungeons and the Dragons begin. It's D&D, fighting with the legends of yore. It's D&D. Never kissed a lady before. Nope. Woo!
Bye-bye!
Making a new franchise is hard, but in order to succeed, you have to give gamers a reason to put down other games similar to it. In this case, the giant 500-pound gorilla known as Overwatch. Lawbreakers isn't a bad game, it just failed to get gamers off the Blizzard behemoth. Offering less story behind the characters themselves, its lacking boring art style didn't help it either. It was just like any other hero shooter.
It's something brand new. It's not comparable. You can't compare it to anything.
Like Overwatch but better.
When Overwatch announcement trailer hit, and Matt Fishman looked at the trailer and he goes, oh, fuck.
So this isn't Overwatch?
No. It's Overwatch plus Unreal.
Similar to Overwatch.
Basically Overwatch with an anti-gravity field mechanic.
They're mixing the class systems of Overwatch with your more twitchy gameplay of Unreal Tournament.
Overwatch-oriented hero shooter.
It's familiar to Overwatch, and as much as you get triggered by hearing the word Overwatch while you're playing Lawbreakers, they are part of the same extended family of games, the hero shooter genre.
Twitch viewership for the game quickly dropped, as did the Steam user base, which is cause for concern. The game is currently on life support with the hope that the console release might save it, but at this point it seems unlikely. Sorry Cliffy B, you tried.
And the whole thing that people want to assume there only has to be one winner, let Overwatch be the Goliath that it is. There's room for Battlefield and Call of Duty. There's room for Tekken and Street Fighter. There's room for multiple games in the genre. The problem is there's usually room for about 3, and everybody after that is picking up the scraps, so we hope we can at least win 2 or 3 in that space.
Today is a great day. Brother Chen has given the word. Today we move on from peaceful resistance to taking up arms to fight for what's right.
After today's kidnapping, the Founders have finally authorized the use of deadly force.
Captain, on deck!
It's showtime.
Sometimes a game tries innovation to spice things up in its genre. In the case of Brink, they promised a new and innovative movement system that was described as free-running parkour.
Get that parkour! Get that parkour!
Instead, what we got was an average shooter that allowed you to vault over objects and maps, not even close to what was marketed. The game's broken promise quickly spread, causing sales and players to quickly drop. It boils down to broken promises, overhyped marketing, and overall lack of innovation.
Yeah. Huh? I don't know. Good talk.
Innovation is a great thing, and the game Evolve introduced a new 4v1 combat system that no one had really ever seen before, and the game seemed fun, and it certainly was surrounded by hype. However, when the game finally released, it wasn't the go-to esports title Turtle Rock Studios had hoped for. The game quickly got called out for its copious amounts of DLC, most of it bad, like really, really bad.
Especially since the lack of content has been supplemented with some of the most extensive DLC I've ever seen. I mean, look at this shit. What is this shit? What do we get? What is this? Is that blue? Is that fucking blue? This is fucking blue. You're giving me a gun that's painted blue and you want to charge me $2. It's not even good DLC. It's not even good cosmetic skins. Look at this shit. They didn't even put effort into it. What the fuck?
It made the game look cheap. Add that on top of the long match queues. It took me nearly 5 minutes to get into a game, and I was allied with computer AI players. The wait time was even worse on the monster side of things. However, it was the gameplay that players criticized the most, calling it tedious. Running around forever to locate a monster turned out to be not very interesting or fun. The snowball of problems continued at launch, and the game rapidly lost players, making the already long match queues even longer. Turtle Rock Studios relaunched the game a few months later and dubbed it Evolve 2.0, and made the game free to play. But by that time, it was too late and the game was dead. It just goes to show you that good/new innovation isn't always enough to keep a game alive.
Get me up!
Good morning, America. Today we celebrate the KPA Peacekeeping Administration's 4th year of wise and prudent governance. Our hearts full of hope as we rebuild America together.
Yeah, right. Talk about hope.
All labor report to designated stations before curfew.
This is the real Philadelphia, 2029.
Modern-day shooters have a tough challenge, and that's that they have to try to compete with Battlefield and Call of Duty. The original Homefront was an interesting idea. However, the sequel received mediocre reviews and was pretty much forgotten a few weeks after release. I played it and I can't really think of anything else to mention. It's just your typical FPS. Nothing really stands out.
A wave of minions has been deployed.
When a game arrives on the market and it's dead, it's probably due to bad design, overhype, or it's just a mediocre game. However, when a game is actually fun, innovative, different, and all around good, it makes it all the more worse. Battleborn is a great game, crossing lines between a MOBA and an arena shooter. There's truly nothing else like it, but it was timing in this case that killed it. It was severely beaten down by the Blizzard behemoth, Overwatch, and failed to get players to put down the game and give Battleborn a shot. Sure, some blame the marketing, but the timing was the main issue here, releasing a week before Overwatch, and that was the only time players bothered with it, before getting snuffed out. It's limped on ever since, failing to sell on console and dealing with a shrinking player base on Steam, until finally 2K confirmed that it would no longer be patching the game, and it's only a matter of time before the servers shut down. And that's too bad. The game was really fun. MMOs for a time were a cash cow. Developers and studios were seeing boatloads of money Blizzard was ranking in using a subscription-based service, and the massive waves of MMOs started to pour in. Most of these games dumped a ton of money into marketing and advertising, all hoping they would be the WoW killer. Unfortunately, most of these failed to impress. A lot of MMOs went from a monthly fee to free-to-play mere weeks after officially launching. Most of these MMOs, like Firefall, The Matrix Online, DC Universe Online, Warhammer Age of Reckoning, had a less than impressive launch and failed to pull gamers away from Warcraft or EverQuest. And although some of these MMOs are still running, their community base isn't growing, but shrinking slowly. Once most of the hype died down, the games were slowly forgotten, some even shutting down servers completely, permanently destroying these massive worlds. It's a classic example of trying to capitalize on a genre that only few companies were massively successful at.
Oh! They drove a dump truck full of money up to my house. I'm not made of stone.
Don't be reckless. Wait for backup.
There's no time.
They'll kill you.
They can try.
Yeah, so the game came out. I literally heard nothing about it. In fact, I had to Google to see if the game was even out yet, since I had heard nothing. No press releases, no buzz, no preview events. The last one I covered was at E3 2 years ago. It's not an easy game, and the gameplay mechanics attract a very specific type of player. Needless to say, the game came and went without much notice. Name me a popular MOBA that's not one of the following: League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, Dota 2, Smite, well, Heroes of Newerth maybe? Okay, that's fair I guess, but there have been dozens and dozens of MOBA games that were literally dead before they ever left the beta. MOBAs like Infinite Crisis, a DC game that took years to develop only to close weeks after its launch. It wasn't the only one though. Many other studios tried and failed, while some, like Strife, continue to limp on, slowly dying. With the massive success of League of Legends and Dota, studios and developers desperately try to get a piece of the MOBA free-to-play pie. While some stood their ground for a while, most of these MOBA games died out fast, not able to bring in the player base of League or Dota 2 over to their side. And rightfully so. Most of these dead or dying MOBAs did little in terms of innovation, and most of them just boiled down to a League of Legends clone with a different skin or gimmicky one-trick pony mechanic. You won't see many others now, save for the big ones, and as a journalist, I've interviewed a lot of devs making MOBAs, only to never hear from them again. MOBAs like Warhammer 40k Dark Nexus, Dawngate, Supernova, Guardians of Middle-earth, remember those? I don't, and trust me, the list is very long. Now before we get into our number one, here are some honorable mentions.
They used to tell stories of a man who saved the world. A man whose very presence sent aliens running back to their motherships. The man who disappeared without a trace.
Damn it.
Why do they always take the hot ones?
The game spent years in development, switching engines multiple times until it finally released in 2011. It was everything fans didn't want. Dated jokes, dated gameplay, horrible 3D platforming, and of course, just the overall awful execution of a Duke Nukem game. Word spread pretty fast of the game's horrendous presentation, and the game alone might have killed Duke. Although our staff seems to think that he's alive and well on a farm.
Oh my god, do you not know what death is?
Batman, you have to know what death... I mean, your parents were shot and killed.
My parents were shot, yes. But they're alive. On a special farm.
Oh boy, they're on a farm.
They're on a special happy farm.
There's not a better example of a game that was dead on arrival than Duke Nukem Forever. What game did you guys think were dead on arrival? Let us know in the comments below. For more videos like this and everything else gaming related, you're already in the right place. You're on Shacknews.com.
It's time to kick gum and chew ass. and I'm